who love a bargain. Frugal Fannies, what will you find today?
Okay, this is it, the Built Ford Tough Sales event. And in this corner, America's most fuel-efficient pickups. Featuring Super Duty with best-in-class payload, towing, and MPGs. Make way for the undisputed 34-year heavyweight champ Ford F-Series, delivering a knockout combination the contenders can't match.
Just announced, during the Built Ford Tough event, get 0% financing for 60 months plus up to $2,000 cash plus no payments for 90 days on Super Duty.
I'm Jerry Remy. I've called a lot of great games. But when it comes to home improvements, it's no game. The job's got to be done right and on budget. That's why I trusted my home to New England's home team favorite for 65 years. NewPro. Whether it's windows, doors, roofing, or siding, NewPro is in a league of their own.
I'm Nick Cogliani. Call us now for a 50% off sale.
Mention the Rem Dog for free installation.
You're going to feel good with NewPro. We guarantee it.
1-800-GO-NEWPRO.
At Frugal Fannies, there are new bargains every week at 20 to 80% off. Whether it's a buyout, closeout, sample sale, or a fab deal on current brand name fashions, I call it the art of the find. Frugal Fannies, what will you find today?
The mother who fought off a pit bull attack in Chelsea at 11.
Right now on Chronicle in high definition.
Not just the privileged and powerful.
Everyone cheats. It doesn't matter who you are.
And it's exciting.
Confessions of a former mistress.
You don't think about it as an affair. You think you are the girlfriend.
Reflections from a betrayed wife.
I think he wanted to, as they say, have his cake and eat it too.
Plus, the view from the courtroom.
Often it's really kind of a passive-aggressive way to get out of the marriage.
And he's an imposter hired to snare cheating wives.
If they make it to the elevator, that means they're willing to cheat.
Cheaters, next on Chronicle. Good evening. New York City has a brand new congressman. Bob Turner won last week's special election held to replace the disgraced Anthony Weiner. Weiner, meanwhile, has joined what might be called America's Hall of Shame.
To be clear, the picture was of me, and I sent it.
They are famous. They are powerful. And they are all damaged goods because of sexual transgressions. But it's not just politicians and sports superstars who cheat on their spouses. Consider this woman, whom we will call Jane. She says she had been dating a man for 6 months when she discovered his big lie.
And we were on the train because we both had to work the next day. And there was a woman on the train who seemed to be very uncomfortable when she saw us. And then he had asked me to go into the next car for a second. And I went into the next car, and he came back and informed me that the woman that was in the car was his wife. And I was more than a little shocked. And I broke up with him on the train. But later that day, I received a phone call from her begging me to leave her husband alone and her family. And I told her, I said, listen, I'm sorry, I had no idea he was married. If I did know he was married, I would not have been with him, you know? And that was the end of him.
In the short time they dated, Jane had fallen for her new beau.
He made me feel safe. I enjoyed hanging out with him. I enjoyed spending time with him. At the time, I thought he was the one, you know? I had intense feelings for him. It was more than just a little bit of a shock, you know? It hurt me. I loved him.
Statistics on the numbers of men and women who cheat are sketchy at best, but they often share character traits, says psychotherapist and relationship expert Terry Real.
And that runs a range from what I call frat boys, guys who are married and haven't figured out that they're supposed to be monogamous when they're married. They're the same kind of guys who go out drinking with their buddies every Friday night. I do believe in sex addiction. I think sex addiction is very, very real. And there are both men and women who are sex addicts, but primarily men who are literally quite compulsive about this and do things that are blatantly self-destructive over and over and over again.
This woman, we'll call Sally, was married for 9 years, but was suspicious of her husband's late-night hours. Sally says she tried on numerous occasions to find out what her husband was up to.
I would ask him point blank, and the answer was always no. it was overtime, or I have, check the pay stubs and you'll see. And he was very good about, manipulating that kinds of things so that I wasn't. And I really didn't know anything. He was the keeper of the checkbook at that time. And shame on me, for not taking a more active role in that. But he was very good at covering his tracks.
Then, one day, while pregnant with her third child, her cell phone rang.
And I actually got a call from his girlfriend, of whom by that time I was aware, more or less, by hearsay. But she was complaining to me that he was seeing someone else besides her. But that was what I needed. I really needed that solid evidence to say, you know what? You've done what you can. Enough is enough. And that's what motivated me finally to take legal action.
Catherine Goldstein, author of the novel Sleeping with Mortals, the story of a New York mistress, admits she had several affairs during her early 20s.
It was an unspoken thing that, we see it so often in the media now. We see it happening all the time. But it was an unspoken thing that they are these men. They have wives, they have families, they have these cars, these houses, they have a girlfriend, or a mistress, if you want to call her the mistress. And that's the role you play. So you don't really think about it as, oh, this is a bad thing. You think about it as, oh, this is what I'm doing. These are important, successful, wealthy men. And you think, hey, if this person is attracted to me, then it's okay. And then I must be okay. And then it's exciting. And you really do get caught up in the lure of that.
Surprisingly, statistics show most men who have affairs do manage to keep their marriages intact.
When a man cheats, it's not usually over. In fact, statistics say that 2/3 of couples do sustain the hit of an affair and manage to survive. It really depends a lot on the state of the marriage before the affair and on people's value system.
And Terry Real says both men and women cheat, obviously, but the numbers are higher for men. But if a woman cheats, she is more likely to be in love with the person with whom she is cheating. And as a result, the marriage is more likely to end if the woman is cheating. So, who wins the most likely to cheat contest?
People who have power, people who have money, and people who travel.
A triple threat in 70 seconds.
Closed caption funding provided by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy?
Tempur-Pedic, the most recommended bed in America, is available at Cardi's, starting at $25 a month.
Enjoy free same-day mattress eye delivery and no interest financing for 4 years on Tempur-Pedic
at Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses.
Your friend told you they love their pilot. You read about how reliable Hondas are, and still, you waited. What if I told you the Odyssey was a 2011 top safety pick? Or that Kelley Blue Book rated the CR-V highest resale value and you can get a great deal on all three? Still not convinced? Well, that's when you go from shrewd consumer guy to weird moon landing denier guy. Don't be that guy. Come see the wide selection and great offers at your Honda dealer today.
Tempur-Pedic, the most recommended bed in America, is available at Cardi's, starting at $25 a month.
Enjoy free same-day mattress eye delivery and no interest financing for 4 years on Tempur-Pedic
at Cardi's Furniture and Mattresses.
What's new in the world of adultery? Well, technology. Cell phones, email, Twitter, and the like open up new opportunities for cheating. But the profile of a cheater hasn't changed at all.
Is it broken?
The lamp?
In the AMC series Mad Men, set in the 60s, main character Don Draper is the man who cheats. The reasons men stray are still the same today.
Well, I think that powerful men are often very narcissistic, and I think that power and narcissism and sex, fortunately or unfortunately, go together. I think that these men have a great appetite. Do you love me? Do you love me? Am I sexy? Am I attractive? And I think they have a great entitlement. They literally think that they're above the rules and they won't get caught.
Terry Real deals with infidelity on a daily basis. Now he is seeing its newest form, techno or cyber cheating.
Is tweeting cheating? You know, the issue is, first of all, there's more accessibility. I can't tell you how many people have old boyfriends or girlfriends emerge from Facebook, and one thing leads to another. So that's real affairs. But then there's also this kind of thing, like with Congressman Weiner, where it's not a physical affair, but it may as well be for all of the sexuality that goes back and forth. It's really almost a mutual fantasy between the two, but it's very titillating and it's clearly over the line.
He sent them lewd photos of himself, but former Representative Anthony Weiner of New York says he never even met the women he sexted. Is that really cheating?
I like to say, if a reasonable spouse were watching and listening, and if they would be appalled at what you're doing, then it's over the line. Is it cheating or is it just over the line? We can argue about that, but it's clearly inappropriate and over the line.
Weiner paid dearly for his indiscretions, forfeiting his job. With so much at stake, why do it?
It's perfectly obvious why people cheat. It's thrilling, it's titillating, sex is fun. The issue isn't why we say yes to sex, it's pleasurable. The issue is why we say no. And we say no because we don't want to get into trouble, we don't want to objectify women or men, we don't want to hurt our families. These are the kinds of considerations that somebody like Congressman Weiner stops thinking about. These are the kind of considerations that a mature person keeps in mind and a narcissist goes right out of the brain.
Catherine Goldstein, who's been married for 10 years, says she sees now it was wrong to date married men.
Didn't go looking for it. They found me. It was one of those situations. And you know, it's certainly not an excuse. And I always say I'm sorry if anyone was hurt at that time. You don't think about it as an affair. You think you are the girlfriend. And let me tell you, these men are pros. And they make you feel like it's okay. So I think they see themselves as gods. I think they see themselves as people who it's okay for me to do this because I'm special. They don't see themselves as an average person or a person who needs to maybe follow society's rules.
According to a study soon to be published in Psychological Science, the higher men or women rise in a business hierarchy, the more likely they are to consider or commit adultery. With power comes both opportunity and confidence. And with confidence, the study's authors say, comes a sense of sexual entitlement.
I'm going to say that people who have power, people who have money, and people who travel, you know, it's like a murder, right? There's motive and what are these opportunity, and people who have the opportunity, people who have the privilege, are often more vulnerable to some kind of sexual affair than people who stay home 9 to 5 and come home and barbecue for their spouses and their kids.
Experts do say, though, that the old adage, once a cheater, always a cheater, is not necessarily true. They say cheaters can get help, and if they're interested and serious about repairing their relationship with a spouse, they can, in fact, do that. Well, flirting with the opposite sex at the hotel bar, all in a day's work.
I mean, usually like within 20 minutes, I can weed out the cheaters.
Catching them in the act when Chronicle continues.
Humble beginnings are true beginnings. They are the purest way to gauge success. Maybe the only way to gauge success. But the most powerful thing about humble beginnings is that they are humbling. Show where you're going without forgetting where you're from. Now lease the all-new 2011 Chrysler 300 for $339 a month for well-qualified lessees.
Experience Peter Pan like never before when the international smash hit flies into Boston. It's the classic story live on stage with breathtaking 360-degree projections that CNN calls dazzling. You'll feel like you're flying. Escape to Neverland with the entire family. Peter Pan. Tickets now on sale. Begins October 18th in the 360 Theater on Boston City Hall Plaza. Visit peterpantheshow.com.
time and money. Precious commodities. So if you didn't have the time to save money, Toyota is giving you one last chance to save big on the last of the 2011 Toyotas. Like 0% financing for 60 months, plus $500 bonus cash on Camry. Or lease a Camry for $179 a month. But you can't waste time. Toyota's last chance clearance ends October 3rd. See your Toyota dealer now.
Go to the Boston Channel and click here to watch full episodes of your favorite ABC shows. Sponsored by Luna. We just want you to love your floors.
877-241 Luna.
Challenge yourself with the ultimate renewable resource, a master's degree in facilities management at Massachusetts Maritime Academy. Work full-time and have a social life with their half-weekend all-inclusive program at their Waltham campus. Visit maritime.edu for more information.
At 46, a mammogram found my cancer and helped save my life. Breast cancer experts recommend women start annual mammograms at age 40.
Mammography saves lives. One of them may be yours. Visit mammographySavesLives.org.
Type the word infidelity into Google and up pops an endless list of private investigators. But they're not the only ones cashing in on cheaters. There are also opportunities for good-looking, sweet-talking imposters. Mark Chauppetta makes a living following people who are suspected of cheating or lying. He is a private investigator with offices in West Bridgewater and Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Who comes to me? I mean, just everyone from, housewives to, scorned men. It really doesn't matter. There's no discrimination when it comes to cheating. And there's infidelity also, outside the heterosexual group of people. So, again, everyone cheats. It doesn't matter who you are.
Chauppetta says that by the time a client decides to hire him, the likelihood is that someone is cheating.
Whether it's, someone that's out in the western part of the country, their wife, their husband's coming to Boston for a convention, they intercepted something, they read an email, saw something that may have triggered their suspicions that was just didn't seem right. And then generally they'll hire us just to follow up on it. And a lot of people know even before they call me, and they'll tell me what they've already investigated on their own, because people, by nature are suspicious. And nowadays you can do a lot of your own investigating stuff yourself. You can do a lot of stuff online, you can do a lot of snooping.
But if there are no answers online, Chauppetta chooses other options. One, a decoy, usually at the client's request.
Sometimes some people are just a little bit more aggressive, and they said, hey, my husband or my wife, because I do have a female decoy, they're going to be at this bar at this time. Can you send her in and let them strike up a conversation and see what they say.
This man is the decoy Chauppetta uses. We can't show his face for obvious reasons.
I mean, usually within 20 minutes I can weed out the cheaters to the people who just want some alone time from the partner. But the longest I've ever spent was 4 days straight trying to get someone to cheat, and they were perfect angel. Kept talking about their partner back home, and he was trying to get his passport renewed to come down, and all in all, she just wouldn't stop talking about the boyfriend, so that was a good sign.
Is he proud of his job?
I'm okay with it. Whether my mother and my girlfriend are or not, that's a whole nother story, but I'm okay with it, and I like to think more along the lines of who I'm helping, not... We get a lot of flack about ruining relationships, but in all honesty, cheating ruins relationships.
Even when cheating is discovered, it doesn't necessarily factor into a divorce case. For example, Massachusetts is a no-fault divorce state. Nancy Van Tyne is a partner at Burns & Levinson. She is known as one of the toughest divorce lawyers in town.
Most judges recognize that many marriages end with somebody cheating. Often it's really kind of a passive-aggressive way to get out of the marriage.
If either spouse, husband or wife, has been spending, round number, $50,000 a year on an extramarital affair, that has to get calculated into the division of assets at the end.
Yes, it does. Say somebody has a child, like Mr. Schwarzenegger, and they've been supporting this child. Yes, he has a duty to support the child, but not with marital money. So it'll get subtracted.
After 32 years of handling divorces, Van Tine admits she has seen and heard it all.
I had a client who suspected her husband was cheating. So she followed him, and when he left the place that it looked like he was staying, she broke in. And lo and behold, he had recreated their family home. He had bought the same furniture, he had the same prints on the wall, he even had the family pet that he'd told her he was going to put to sleep.
Perhaps surprisingly, in Massachusetts, cheating is not that big a factor in the division of assets in a divorce. Nancy Van Tine says it may shift that balance of assets, the division of assets, by 5% or less. Well, catch a lie, literally in the blink of an eye.
What I call blink storms.
The mark of a liar, when we come back.
Ladies, Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center wants you to stay healthy. Learn 5 things you can do today to improve your well-being, plus the latest treatments for female ailments from fibroids to migraines. And ask our specialists your questions. Go to the Boston Channel and click Health.
This is a sign of future prosperity for everyone in Massachusetts. Science shows when young children interact with adults in nurturing relationships within supportive environments, they're building the architecture of their brains. These early experiences and interactions lay a strong foundation for the next set of skills like reading and math, and to a lifetime of learning and success. By investing in their future, we invest in everyone's future. Learn more at brainbuildinginprogress.org.
Hi. Want to go to Penn Station?
A little further up would be good.
You have a standard amount of leg room, sir.
Nah, I'm 6'3". I need more leg room.
It's only a short trip.
I'm hot, I'm cramped, and we haven't even left yet. I can't do this.
To prove we have the world's most advanced all-wheel control, we took the Mitsubishi Outlander and Outlander Sport to the world's most dangerous road. Take the 360-degree test drive at MitsubishiCars.com.
Red Christmas Show.
It's the new Radio City Christmas Spectacular starring the world-famous Rockettes. Returning to Boston's Wang Theater, featuring brand new scenes and songs, spectacular new sets, dazzling new costumes, an amazing 50-foot LED screen, and more. Watch in wonder as Santa flies through the falling snow. It's a magical experience you'll never forget. Don't miss it. December 2nd through the 28th. Visit citycenter.org/Radio City or call for tickets today.
Welfare dollars spent at travel destinations. Team 5 investigates tonight at 11.
Ladies, Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center wants you to stay healthy. Learn 5 things you can do today to improve your well-being, plus the latest treatments for female ailments from fibroids to migraines. And ask our specialists your questions. Go to the Boston Channel and click Health.
Married or single, whatever your status, prepare to take notes, because sometime in the future you'll be glad to know how to identify what could be a lie.
Michael Collar is a private investigator. Joe Tetch is a professor at Boston College. Both are experts at catching a lie.
And I never, ever thought I was breaking the law.
Joe Tetch says he can tell in a blink of an eye, or rather, in the number of blinks per minute.
So what are some of the ways to determine if somebody's lying?
Some of the ones that really tell you somebody is emotionally upset while they're talking to you, and therefore they may or may not be lying, are blink rate.
Tetch has counted blinks on the famous and the infamous.
Okay, this is John Edwards. I believe he's discussing the indictment that might come about because he misused federal funds. I think that's the issue, but I'm not sure. And you'll see John Edwards in this clip at a very fast 110 blinks per minute. That's even more than the king of blinks, John McCain, showed at 104 during the 2008 election. So this is very, very fast.
But that's just one indicator. So you begin to look for others.
Too little, or too much of gestures, staring, blinking, scratching one's nose, talking too fast or too slow, which is really different than the content of the speech, but that's a body language, tip you off that something's going on that's not normal. Okay, here's Roger Clemens, who is a gaze averter. He looks down, smacks his lips, dry mouth, looks down again. 18 times a minute, Roger Clemens looks down, and at this point, he was lying as shown by future events.
And it is this famous flurry of blinks that first got Professor Tetch on this path of discovering lies.
You might even show what I call blink storms. And we saw that August 8, 1974, which started me on the road to blinks.
Michael Collar is convinced he can easily spot a lie. How, you ask? He says there are 7 signs. The first is hands.
A simple handshake, whether weak or strong, whether the hands are damp. It kind of sounds silly, but it's definitely true.
The next, openness.
If someone's sitting with their arms crossed, if their posture is not open, generally they're not ready to speak to us. Is someone nervous? Are they unsteady? Are they stuttering? Is their diction changing, their voice changing? Very, very, very simple steps. The darting the eyes, looking down to the right. Is it a visualization? Is it the truth? Are they looking up to the left? The next step is in substance. Does their story have any weight to it? Does it sound true? Is it feasible? Test them. Ask them questions over and over, because it's very, very difficult. I don't care how good of a liar you are. It's very difficult to stick with the same story.
The last tip-off, motive.
Ask them why. Was I a bad employer? Did you take the money from me because I wasn't paying you enough? Was I a bad spouse? Did you cheat on me because I was missing something in our relationship? Maybe it's my fault. Or even with a child, was I a bad parent? Is it something I did? Is there something that maybe I shouldn't do again that made you do what you did? And that usually gets a heartfelt response.
And finally tonight, we want to take a moment to thank the 1,200 plus viewers who have found us on Facebook, now that we have our own Chronicle page there. To join the crowd, just go to Facebook and look for Chronicle 5. And that's Chronicle for tonight. Thanks very much for joining us. I'm Anthony Everett. Have a good evening, and we'll see you again tomorrow night.
Add your